What is going on, people? It is currently almost 8:30 on Monday, July 12th, 2021. Let's hope that we can ride this momentum from last week into this week. Last week was a fantastic week, the most profitable week I've had since starting the server back in April. That makes 2 giant weeks I had in the past month. So I just want to ride that momentum into this week. How's everybody going? Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it. Yeah, I thought I was happy to make that video. I think it was perfect timing. That's a question I get answered quite a bit, so I'm glad you liked that video. Mel Nurse, what's going on? Alfred, how's it going? Dano, Carmine, how's you doing? Alexander, Leafy, how you doing? Henny, how you doing, buddy? How you doing? Got some gym workouts going today? All right, there's the market open. Ding, ding, ding. There's VIX coming down, and there's SPY already at 435.50, which is at my first resistance point. I've got it 435.55 as my first calculated upward resistance. Let's see how that plays out. VIX, I'll be watching closely, which is here. It's on the downtrend going down to 1608, which kind of looks like what happened on Friday. If that continues down to 1608, you can expect more upside in SPY. All the market is green. Tech is very much green. Let's look at XLF there. Big red from XLF so far. XLK. Big gap up here on XLK, and the QQQ is following suit. Right now, I'm looking at July 16th, 437 calls. Let me make sure that the deltas play out on those. 38 deltas, I like it. And the volume on it is right now is only 231, but growing fast. So I like that. I like that. $1.33 each. I want to make sure I got the implied volatility. What's implied volatility smoking at right now? Standby one. Implied volatility 11%, so a touch higher than it was Friday on those things. 12% on puts. So premiums are starting to be a little more expensive than they were last week. That means the market is starting to price in a move. That's what happens when you tread all-time highs for about a week, week and a half, is that you start pricing in a move like that. Happy hunting, Carby. Good stuff. CJ, how you doing? All right, so going over to SPY, there's a big red here bouncing off that 435.50 first support. I've got 435.55 as the first official POC on the 1-month chart. Currently now at 435.09 after rejecting that upward momentum. Let's see where this plays out. Big green candle there on the VIX. That's what's bringing down that momentum here on the SPY. Bonds are going up. XLF, big sell-off there. QQQ, big green, SP, and then the XLK right there. I kind of move things around this, so I'm getting used to the new layout here. XLK, green there, still shaking out. I'm going to stick to the 1-minute chart here until we get about 3 minutes in, and then I'll switch over to the 3-minute chart once we get some time frame built up. SPY is there, currently churning out that range. Let's see where the thing goes. I always forget that. How's it going, Patreon? Bringing you into the fun. Sorry about that. Always forget the technology side of things. Anyway, looking at SPY right now, VIX has got a big green candle. It bounced off of the 1666. Now it's back up to 1684. Big green there. And SPY is forming out the bottom of the range here, currently at 434.97 as the low, and hovering at 435.16 right now. I appreciate everybody being here. Thanks for everybody being here. Good stuff. 200 people watching so far on this early Monday morning. Hopefully you have a great day today. Great day today. VIX is falling there. XLK is coming down. Q's there. Want to be careful of this buy up here on SPY with the momentum coming down. Just kind of want to let things shake out, maybe get a little more downside here and then catch the bottom in the event. Things are definitely green. All of FAANG is definitely green. Tesla's way up again. No surprise there. They're usually up 2 or down 2. It's crazy, crazy stuff. Trading options, Johnny? No, but trading everything? I mean, I've traded everything under the sun. options, futures, stocks, REITs, bonds, everything. Just right now, I'm sticking to just options. But it took, it's a 10-year process to get where I am today. 10-year process. There's that big sell-off in SPY, which that's the reason why I wasn't taking any calls yet, because I see this weakness coming into the Qs. So I wanted to be careful. And look what happens. Things sold off and immediately dojied out here. So the volume here, you got some green buying volume here on the 1 minute. I'm going to switch to the 3 now that we have some time frame built in, and start watching how these candles shake out in the 3-minute chart here. EMAs are all pretty much sandwiched in right here. Squeeze momentum indicator is trending downwards to enter a squeeze, with the gray cross entering into the black crosses here. Starting to read VPA book, Kenny. Great job. Keep reading that thing, man. Read it 3-4 times. I promise you it'll pay off dividends. It'll be the best investment you've ever made in terms of literature with trading. XLF is getting a bounce here. SPY is there, and take a look at the VIX. Hovering out right here at 1677. If you think it's got some more downside to 1608, we'll face a little more upside on SPY. If you got any questions, feel free to throw them in the Discord room. If you are new to the channel, of course, go over and join the Discord. Man with a wealth of information there. A lot of cool people tossing around a lot of good information. What are the areas served to put questions? If you've got like general, maybe kind of generic questions or about trading questions in general, you could put them in the OM questions channel, which is OM questions and answers. Or if you got a SPY related question or an ETF related question, you could throw it in the ETF exchange room. Either way, just at me if you've got something that's directed to me, and I'll be happy to answer those questions. All right, so SPY recouped that little downside here, back up and testing 435.53 again, right up here at the 435.55, which I've got as resistance there. Oh, and it popped right through. All right, that VIX is dropping back down. Currently at 1663. Qs are there. XLK is coming down there, and XLF right there. All right. So let's see. All-time highs is 435.80, which is the upward pivot point I've got listed after the 435.30. And pop a lobbin. All right, here. So the June 16th, 437 calls are currently trading at 159. They were down to 130. That would have been a heck of a buy, but this volatility here, things are going crazy. Now watch, the volume's dying off here. You've got this large price action based on a relatively small movement here. So I'm curious to see how this is going to play out. Things are popping all over the place here on the 3-minute chart. I'm not in any rush to take the position. There's always going to be some action here to get. Qs are still falling, so that's why I'm not in any hurry to jump into some calls. If anything, I'm more apt to grab a quick put here on the downside, the way that tech sector is falling off. Let's take a look at Apple. Whoa. All right, Apple's dropped $2. That's a big sell-off from Apple. Amazon, Google, XLF is there. VIX is wicking out here, so All right, all right. Yeah, there's the link. Thanks, Howard, for posting that in the channel. And just like that, SPY starts coming down from 435.67 down to 435.40 after the tech sector appears to showing some weight here on SPY. All right, this is this is the highest implied volatility I've seen in a couple of weeks. So just be on the lookout there. The premiums are definitely a lot higher than they have been the past few weeks. 12%, 13% now on these puts. So just be careful. That means we could have a bit of a move today if that's the case. At least this week. If you're not familiar with the Greeks or implied volatility, I encourage you to go take a look at my Greeks video. Maybe I can get Howard or one of the mods to post that link to that in the channel or in the chat channel. That'd be fantastic. That'll really give you a look on how the market is pricing things. Man, big sell-off here on the Qs. XLF is there. VIX, where's the VIX? Starting to get a bounce here. Oh man, look at this thing. Sold right off again. Crazy. There's a particular sweet spot on the RSI that helps you confirm call put entry. I used when I did use it for long-term trades, I would go 70-30. 70 is traditionally considered overbought. 30 is traditionally considered oversold. However, I stopped using RSI for my short-term trades. I was getting a lot of false signals. I would still, if I go back to swinging trades for like weeks, months, I definitely would bring it back into my check. But for day trades, I no longer use it. All right, XLK is there. XQ's it's sold off here. They've got a range of 362.88 to 361.34, which is about $1.50. It's not a bad range. SPY has got a range of 435.81 to 434.97, which is a little less than $1. A little better than a few days last week, but we still had like a little bit bigger range. The bigger the range, the easier it is to play those range plays. Thanks, Christian. Appreciate that. And Howard. All right, here's the deal. VIX came down to 1654 right now on the 3-minute chart. It's hovering around right at the 21 EMA. There's the 5 there. And there's the 5-minute chart on here on SPY. Currently hovering right here, smack dab in the middle of the range, getting wicked out left and right, man, just barcoding over. Looks like it's setting up for an interesting day. Apple discount was bought right up. I wouldn't say it was bought right up. There's got some green going on, but we want to see where this thing rolls. The EMAs are starting to stack downwards. If that 8 EMA crosses down to 34 and stays down, that's going to be bearish for Apple. We'll see how that bounces up now. SPY is getting bought up again, back and forth. Up, down, up, down, up, down. We'll see where this thing rolls. Not touching this. This is a good chance. This is a good way to get smoked out if you're wrong. So I'm going to see how this plays out here. Got about 20 minutes before this range plays out. And I'll be watching XLK and the Qs to see how those go. Right now, the 8 EMA is crossed below the 34 to the downside of the 3-minute chart. That's a bearish indicator here. The volume is starting to die off. You got the big red, a little bitty green here, and then more red forming. So definitely bearish indicators here. Bearish indicators. All right, looking at Qs here, man, that thing's getting sold off there. VIX is coming down here. So even with the weakness here on the tech sector, I'm going to be careful because I look at XLF. XLF is quite strong here. Bonds are sold off here. VIX is down, but the VIX is going to be the determining factor here on which play I play going forward, at least the first morning. So I'm just getting my basis here, make sure I'm setting up for a play in the event that things happen. All right, VIX coming up 1660 there. XLF is very strong this morning so far, going up to their POC. QQQ is weak at the moment, and tech sector is weak as well. Apple is still going down here. We'll see how that affects it. All right, I'm going to build my SPX watch list here. SPX, let's see, July 14th is probably what I'll go with here. Let's take a look at the volume on those things. Low volume on those so far. And I'm not doing daily. I'm not doing a 0 DTE. That's a little cray cray. All right, so the 4365s and the 4380s. 4365, 4380s. So this thing's there. Q's selling off hard. XLF is there. Once the weakness fails in XLF, this is going to this looks like a reverse situation of Friday with the weakness in the tech sector and the Qs right now. If XLF fails and comes down, SPY is coming right back down with it. That's why I want to be careful and take. I'm set up for a put position right now. If this thing rolls quickly, I'll hop into a quick put position and try to ride that out. But I'm waiting for a really bounce on the VIX. Q still selling off. XLF there. Here's XLF there. XLK. Qs are still getting some pretty good weakness there. And the VIX looks like it may actually get a bounce here. Interesting. Interesting. I'm actually going to change that to 4360 puts on the SPX. I've always had great luck without outside the money options. They pay a little bit better return, so I prefer doing outside the money. And there's the VIX still right there. Let's see, XLF is still very strong, and Qs are getting a little bit bounced there. So we'll see where this puts us. So this volume is starting to die off here. Q still selling off hard. If XLF downturns, it's going to be tank city for SPY. I'm close to making a put position here, a small put position, but that's going to be more like a bet, and I don't want to do that just yet. I want to see something telling me that my play is going to pay off here, because at the same time, Qs could rebound, take this thing up, and it'll just SPY will continue on going up. And that's why I don't want to jump into a put position just yet. But I am very close. I've got the July 14th 4360 puts on SPX ready to go. All I got to do is hit enter, and my position is in. So I'm going to be quick with this, if I do take a put. So Tesla's still up there. Apple, still big sell off there in Apple. Amazon got a little sell off after going high. Netflix there, still sell off. So definitely weakness in tech. You've got these the highs staying put. You've got these higher lows sandwiching in here. The EMAs are definitely stacked. Let's go to the 5, see what's going on. Volume is falling off big time. The momentum is cooling here on the 5-minute chart. Q's all selling volume here, can't catch a bid. VIX is falling down here. But look, there's another big candle here on absolutely no volume whatsoever. It's a bearish indicator here. I am so close to puts, I could taste it. I could taste it. 10 years, bird. I've been trading for 10 years. All right, just watching here. VIX is stagnant, not going anywhere. XLK is down here. So let's see if Q's get a bid. This would be interesting because Q sold off hard, it didn't touch SPY at all because the financial sector is very, very strong. Almost to all-time highs here at 36.84, almost there. And now that if Q's get a bid and bounce up, SPY will take it on up. And we'll see how that thing goes. That's why I didn't want to jump into puts too soon in the event that that did happen. So FAANG, Apple's getting a bounce there. Amazon's still down. Netflix is still down. Tesla is still up, very much still up. Volume is still dying off. See that right here? Squeeze momentum indicator here on the 5-minute is flipping back and forth between dark and light green. That green candle on the Qs is sold off back to this doji, and see where that thing heads. And there's an invite link to the Discord. Yeah, we had level 3 status to get that that's custom URL for the Discord, but we've lost a few boosts, so we lost the level 3 status, which inherently I lose the OptionsMillionaire Discord link. So we've got that custom link I have to regenerate every day. So yeah, just keep pinging me, and I'll keep sending it out. SPY is back up to 435.80, approaching all-time highs. We are currently right at all-time highs. Let's see if this thing can pop through, and then see what it can do. QQQ is still not going anywhere, but SPY is climbing on zero volume. Zero volume. But continuing to climb nonetheless. Kate, I did the complimentary SPY watch list too, which is the July 16th 437 calls, 434 puts. So if you want to play a play like that, it's similar to that. Similar deltas. Q is still falling off. Still falling off here. Oh, now it's switching back to green here. Still no volume. VIX still falling off. And there's all-time highs. 435.86. We are 5 minutes away from forming the morning session ranges. All right, SPY's flipping back and forth in the 5 minute between red and green. Volume is dying off still. There's a 3 minute chart, still very much extended above the EMAs. Nothing bearish so far, but volume is starting to decline. We'll see where it's going to happen. Q's down. I would be hard to say this thing is going to trend up. There's just too much weight right now on the tech sector. Yes, financials are very strong, but the tech sector being so heavy, especially already with this gap down, there's too much weight, I think. I could be wrong for sure, absolutely. But in my opinion here, I would say that I would be hard-pressed to think that we're going trend today, and we'll probably at least be either a range day or a bump back down. We'll see. We'll see. Yep, Tony, definitely, definitely. Yeah, I think last week I broke my Monday losing streak. I feel like all of my losses happen on Mondays, so I think I broke that last week, and I want to maintain that win rate on Mondays. So I'm going to be very careful here. But if I had to guess, I'm going to take puts. I'm going to take puts. There's a big sell-off. Qs, whoa, Qs are still down. Man, XLF just keeps on going. Keeps on chugging. VIX down here again, 1651. And every red candle continues to be bought up here on the SPY. So the buyers are still definitely in the game. Look at that. Just immediately flipped and bought right back up. Look at that. Strength is definitely here, which every time that happens, I have less and less confidence in puts because that just shows me how easily you can get smoked. Look at that big red candle here. That thing was completely bought up. And now here we are back up at 435.94, about to hit 436. Nice, Johnny. So what do we look for in the VIX? The VIX, I'm looking at the levels, previous levels. Right now, we're currently at 1608 is where those kind of levels is down here, which is the same levels I played on Friday. We gapped up, now we're coming back down, and seems to want to congregate right here. We'll see how that works. And if it does continue to fall, we'll look for support at 1608. If this thing falls, I'll be watching to take some calls in SPY and see it goes higher. But there's a lot of weight. I need to see a reversal in Qs, which will come soon if SPY stays up here, and then we'll take calls and head up. Now, here's the interesting thing. SPY is already at the top of the range. It's 436. And it hasn't touched. QQQ hasn't touched SPY at all. If Qs reverse, it could bring SPY higher into a trend, which would be interesting. Q is still weak. XLK is still weak. Financial sector still beasting. Look at that. Beasting. Super strong momentum here on the XLF, which is just causing SPY to come up. Any weakness, though, that's coming back down, though. Big time weakness here in the tech sector. Coming out in the POC, though, in the 3 minutes, go to the 5. Same thing right here at the POC of the 360.94. Now, look at that weakness. This is what I'm talking about here, taking puts with SPY. It's very, very tempting. Very, very tempting with this setup. That's why I'm being patient. Ranges are set, though, 436.11 to 434.94 on SPY. And this thing's just going nuts. Look at that. Now up to 426.13. Q is still falling, and SPY is still raging. I'm kind of in that position where I'm not comfortable taking calls here with the weakness in the tech sector after this big run up, and the VIX is at a decision point. I need to see where VIX is going to go first before I do that. So. Yeah, 5.6 million to 2.83 is the call put, which is still low on either side. It's still low on either side, but I'll post that in the Titan View channel, Titan View data, Titan Flow. There you go. XLF is just doing its thing. It's doing its thing. Like not one of these dots closed beside each other. It's just up and up and up. All right, SPY's up here at 436.25. I don't. I monitor it, but I don't trade XLF. Ben, to go long here, I would need to see Q's rebound. I would need to see SPY consolidate here and then volume come in to take it up higher. That's what I would need to see here. It's actually quite impressive here that SPY wasn't even touched by the Qs being that weak. By the XL tech sector, XLK. All right, in my watch list, there's a lot of red in my watch list here too. And SPY has been on a rampage since it 6 o'clock Central Time. Just going. 434.07 bounce all the way up to 436.26. So over a $2 recovery after that big gap down. Look at the volume on this thing, though. Volume is decreasing here. We'll see how this plays out. And look at that move on financial sector here. So up there. So this volume here is what I'm really focused on. The volume in the VIX today. You've got this thing that's just heading down. More selling volume than volume, more volume on the individual candles here. And then let's see how this thing rolls out. Qs can't find any momentum here. It's still stuck on the 8 EMA here on the 3-minute chart, switching to the 5. Same thing. Alrighty. So 436, I'm going to go back to the options chain here and reanalyze my SPY plays since the range is kind of jumping around. So make sure I've got the delta set right. All right, so I'm going to go with the 438s and then the 434s, which I already have the 434s, so that's good. But I will be switching to the 438 calls in the event that I do take calls. I made that adjustment here in the watch list in the Discord room. And with SPX, I'll take the 43.90 calls instead of the 80s, and I made that adjustment as well. All right. Q's getting a bounce. XLF is red. They're doing this inverse related thing here today. VIX is kind of figure out what it wants to do. XLF is there. Energy sector is big red on the there. XLB material sector is way up and getting another bounce in SPY. Once again, every red candle on SPY is getting bought up. If this continues, I will take some calls and just call it a day. Running six, I use Excel. I got a custom built trading log built in Excel. Yeah, Corey. Right now, implied volatility is about 13%. So I think last week we were down to 8% at one point, and then Friday we were 10 and 11%. And now we're 13. So yeah, premiums are definitely higher today than they have been, which means someone's expecting a move. Market is expecting. That's how you can put a definition on VIX. That's the market pricing in a move. Every little bit of weakness in a SPY is getting bought up. Every little bit. But eventually, this is going to catch up to SPY. This weakness in the Qs, if this reverses, if this sells off and comes back down, this is going to catch up to SPY eventually. It's just got to let it play out here because this rage in XLF is pretty egregious. See how this thing is going to work. Not in any hurry to take a position right now. I want to see where things play out. It depends on the earnings. You know, you have a couple of different theories on earnings plays, like sell the earnings, sell the news. I don't play earnings plays because there's too much volatility and unpredictability. So we'll see what happens with that. I mean, it depends on how good the news is. It depends. Every single bit of weakness still on the SPY being bought up. 436.27. Tech sector still selling back off. VIX wants to turn up here. We're currently hovering right at the top of the range. Right at the top of the range. Squeeze momentum on the 5-minute is just flipping back and forth. EMAs are easily stacked to the bullish side. I really want to focus on the VIX here. We got finally have 3 green candles in a row. Let's see where that thing goes. If we get upward momentum, this will tank the SPY. I've got puts loaded, ready to go in the event that a move down turns. Q's selling off again. Decision point right here. SPY forming new all-time highs once again. There you go, 436.33, new highs. So the VIX is uptrending. Little red sold off there. SPY there. Q's continue on down. Crazy day. Crazy day. All right, Q's right at the bottom of their range again. Still wait. XLK is breaking down even better. XLF's got some red here. Interesting point. Interesting point. Volume is decreasing. Not much conviction in the volume. XLK, look at that. XLK popped the range to the downside. XLF is still up here at the top. VIX wants to climb. First time it's climbed through the ADMA. Well, not the first time, but it's climbing through the ADMA here on the 5-minute chart. All right. These puts are currently trading, what, $1.23 each on the SPY. SPX puts are currently trading at $10.60 on the bid. But look at that. Yet again, the weakness is bought up on the SPY. Not going anywhere. Where's it going? Nowhere. With the cash count, you can only trade with settled funds, and options settled funds are T1. Nathan, if you use, there's two different VIX. You see this VIX up here? That's the VIX with a little D that says delayed. And then this VIX, which is the TVC. If you look right here at this little label that pops up, it says TVC. That is the one that you want. TVC VIX, that one's not delayed. Big sell off here in XLK. Q's is about to follow suit. And XLF still climbing away. Not in any hurry to catch a position. Not in any hurry. I will wait for things to break down. If this thing does break down, if it does break down, there'll be a couple of seconds to get in a position here. So I'm not in any hurry. I'm going to let this thing play out. I don't want to call the top and buy put because it looks toppy. I want to wait for confirmation. Otherwise, this thing is going to keep on churning. This thing very well could go blip right up to 437.60. And here I am, with my thumb in the dam, holding puts. So I don't want to do that. I want to wait to enter some puts when I'm told to enter some puts, told by the market. Thanks, Nathan. Appreciate it. Yep. It's not a trend day yet. It's not a trend day. We're still hovering right here. So if we break higher and go, then it'll be trend. If we break lower, then back into the range, and it's a range day. Not anymore, Carl. I always stick to SPY, SPX, and QQQ. What are my parameters for the volume profile, daily, monthly, weekly? When I'm doing my pre-market analysis, I go all the way up to the 1 year. Then I go 6 month, 3 month, 1 month, weekly, and then daily. And then I go throughout the entire time frames of the daily. 15-minute, 5-minute, 3-minute. And I'm looking at where is the heaviest volume nodes at? Where are the POCs at? Does it correlate to today's movement? And I form the strongest supports and resistance I can find. Where if that price gets through there, it's going to have some sort of manipulation. Hey, once again, yet again, another all-time high, 436.42. This thing's just nibbling away. Right now, I'm on the 5-minute chart. I'll go back to the 3 to watch this. Volume's still decreasing. Qs want to turn up. I'm not in any hurry to make a trade. No hurry to make a trade. It depends, Dior. If I see the opportunity to start swinging stuff reliably, I will. And I'll start out small just to make sure that I've pinged the market well. But right now I'm not. All right. So we do not have volume here to call this a trend day. Not yet. Yes, we're higher. We are what? 436 or 40 cents above the high. So it looks like a trend day, but we don't have the volume yet to call this a trend day. If this continues on, yes, it will be trending. But on the 3-minute chart here, not one single red candle since what? 15 minutes ago. Just green, 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 green. Definitely continue going up. Now the Qs is kind of have this upward momentum here. SPY is continuing on upward. You don't have to make a trade every day, for sure. There's the bonds right here. XLE is raging there. SPY is here. Q is still selling off. XLK is still selling off again. So I'm just waiting for a good put entry here. A really good put entry. There's too much weakness in the market right now for this thing to keep on doing this. That's my sentiment. Every time Qs turn up, it's sold off. Now, if Qs turn up a little more and continue on up, I'll change my position and I'll just look at taking some calls on the Qs or XLK or just the Qs, for example, and I'll flip my sentiment. But right now, this is unsupported. The volume is just dropping off. It's unsupported volume, and there's too much weakness in the technology sector. So I'm not saying this thing's going to tank, but the grab puts to come back down to the POC, and then I'll flip. I want a good flush to take puts, and then I'll take calls back up. New all-time high is 436.64. So just straight line. Look, that EMA hasn't even curved. It's just you can literally put a straight line on this EMA. It's just crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. That's how aggressive that thing has been this morning. New all-time high, 436.63 right now. All right, there's the Apple coming back up. Amazon tech sector starting to get a rebound here with the SPY already at insane levels, and then tech sector starting to rebound, and it'll just bring it even higher. So I'm about to take some calls on the SPY and see how this thing rolls out. I'm not going to fight puts if this is going to continue to do this craziness, especially with this doing that. It's just ridiculous at this point. This is one of those typical printer, Fed doesn't care, no logic, no technical reasoning plays. So no technical analysis can defend this. So let's just screw it, flip it. I'll wait for a little bit of downturn and we'll take some calls here. We'll wait for this thing to putter out a little bit, and then we'll see about taking some calls. Qs are getting strong here on the uptrend. XLK is there. In fact, you know what? Let me actually take a look at some QQQ. Instead of, let's take a look here. Option chain on the Qs. That's the most ridiculous 8 EMA I've seen in a long time. Just straight. It's dead straight. Turn it up. All right, stand by. I'm going to look at some 364 calls on QQQ. In the event that things goes. So with me flipping like this, I'm not going to jump into a position. I'm going to wait for my new thesis to form out here and see where we go. Thanks, Daniel. Appreciate that. All right. How do you know to exit? I'm not in any position yet, so there is no exit. Volume is still falling off here. All right, crew Q's there, bouncing off the 80 MA here on the 3-minute chart. Yeah, if you've seen Agent Run, Matrix reference, good, I like it. Yep, no positions yet. Not in any hurry to take a position here. Yeah, I trust these levels as much as I trust Hillary's email server. It's just there's no volume up here. 436.67. Just no bueno. No bueno. $436.71. Still waiting right up here. So the Qs are all sandwiched in here with the EMAs. XLF is trading sideways after that big bounce up. And this is what I'm looking at now. The VIX is what I'm looking at. See what he wants to do. And the next thing here is this right here. Volume is just decreasing here. Unsupported buying volume. And we're just waiting. All right. So until I see something telling me that stands out, I'm not going to take a position here. It's just not my position. It's not my play here. Oh yeah, F-35s, baby. Those are extremely light aircraft. Extremely light aircraft. Love them. There's a big old red candle on the SPY. Q's right here. 8 is crossing over the 21, approaching the 34. XLF is getting sold off right there. Interesting. Interesting. VIX is still on down. VIX is at 1631. I probably won't consider taking puts on SPY unless we get down to the lower 16 range, and then I'll kind of reevaluate my put position on SPY. But I don't buy all-time highs when there's no volume, and that's exactly where we are. I don't care if I miss out on a play. I think long term. I may miss out on a play today, but it's going to keep me protected in the long run, and it's just something I always stick with. Nope, no positions yet, Levy. Toasty, yes, I will. I'm going to be going over my long-term position holdings, going over basically what I choose and how I choose to enter to add stuff to my account and what to hold. And actually, what am I doing to hedge against the incoming destruction of the market, which I think is imminent. This market will continue to churn. The printer will continue to burn until it doesn't, and then once we turn it off, it's tank city. So I will go over my strategy, what I plan on starting to navigate that. 3 into 5, Maverick. 3 into 5. What's your favorite looking plane? Either the F-16 or the A-10. I love both of them. VIX is still falling while the SPY is getting a little sell here. XLF, big green. That I can't say. You never know, Corey. We're in unprecedented times. You know, prior to Corona, SPY was what, 320, and then it tanked to 217, and then by June we were back up and we recouped everything, and here we are at 436. So we're over $100 higher than where our all-time highs were prior to Corona. So there's no telling where we'll fall. Where will we come back to valuations prior to Corona? Will we just fall down 10% from where we are here, 15%? Who knows? And that is the equation. That's the big question. Since we're at unprecedented times, we're at insane all-time highs. Where do you go? Where do you go? Manipulation? I wouldn't call it manipulation. It's just unprecedented federal participation. The federal government has participated in asset purchases unlike never before. And this market is responding like never before. This is why we've never seen a market like this before, because we have an unprecedented level of federal asset purchases. The federal government is propping this market up. And you can call that manipulation, I guess, if you want, but, you know, it is what it is. And eventually they're going to have to put the kibosh on that. And there you go. Not to mention, you got the housing market to consider. Check out the forbearance program, the mortgage forbearance program, and look at how many people already filed for the mortgage forbearance program. How many people are already in forbearance, which means you don't have to pay your mortgage. If that number keeps on climbing, especially if salaries of the average American are not increasing enough to keep up with the pace of the housing market, you've got somebody who's making the same amount of money they were 3 years ago, but their house is now costing them double to get no house, or triple. Forbearance, foreclosures. Definitely right, Ben. Definitely right. I am close to taking a quick call here, though, on QQQ. I'm not going to touch SPY right now. I just don't trust that crap. But the Qs, they're kind of doing this inverse relationship between SPY and Q this morning. So I'm close to taking a quick position here. The July 14th 364s, looking for a 10%er, and we'll see what happens. Negative. No portfolio margin. You're right. Running sticks is going to be the kiss of death. And some people, although I definitely agree with you, Ben, that you like that terminology. Some people don't actually call this a bubble because they think it's a supply issue. The reason why the houses are going crazy is because there's a supply issue, and that they don't really consider that a bubble. You can call it what it is. It's all semantics at that point. But yes, you're definitely right. And you know, margin, portfolio margin is all-time highs. More people are more margin than ever before. Houses are up over 100% what they were 5 years ago. They're over what 30%, 40% over what they were a year ago. Forbearances are going to increase. It's going to be a madhouse. It's going to be a madhouse. My 91% win rate is working. It's taking a little hit. I think I'm down to an 83%, 84% win rate right now. But yeah, it's working. It's treated me very well. Last week was the most profitable week I've had since I started the Discord back in April. 2 weeks before that was I made 48 grand in a week. Like it was the second highest, and last week I beat that. So yeah, this system definitely works, man. I love it, and I'm happy to be showing it to everybody. I'm happy, and the thing is, like I said, if you look in the Discord, and you go to my core values channel that I created to kind of explain just everything I'm thinking, it's hard to even call this a system because all it is just a very basic, very simple day trading system. However, where I differ is I put a lot of emphasis on controlling your emotions. Controlling your emotions. And it goes with everything, especially me being in the military. Like I'm a historian. Like I love reading books about history. I love reading books about warfare. Like everything that sharpens your mind. And the common theme in all those books is emotions. If you want to destroy your enemy, the first thing you do is make them emotional. The more emotional you are, the less you think. And that's across the board with anything. So that is no different in the market. You have to control your emotions. If you're getting emotional, you can't think. You're going to make stupid decisions. You're going to lose a lot of money. You're going to lose a lot of money. Patience is absolutely key. And you have to know when is the time to attack, when is the time to hold back. Yes, there has been obviously some opportunities to buy calls, but for me, it doesn't fit my eye. I don't like the setup. I'm not comfortable with it, so I'm not going to take it. And that's something I had to learn too, especially being this OM online personality and everybody watching my plays. Like, I can't force a play just because y'all want me to make a play. And if I do that, I'm going to lose money. I do have a margin account. I just don't use margin, by the way. I see you're commenting about margin. I do have a margin account. I just don't use it. I toyed with it a little bit back when I played with stocks, but obviously I don't touch it now, and I don't use it for options trading, of course. No position yet. It is. It's the hardest part for everybody, Dave, including myself. It is the hardest part, and nobody talks about it. Like in all my research of watching all these other online, and I've never watched online people before other than like legit educational videos, not, hey, click my video type stuff. In everything I see, nobody talks about the emotion side of things. I guess because it's hard to quantify it, it's hard to put like numbers on it and make it a YouTube video other than just me sitting here talking to you. But emotions are the absolute hardest part. And nobody talks about it. They all talk about the special indicator, the magic indicator that's going to get you 60%. And everybody asks the same question, like, what's the golden egg? What's the crystal ball? And I can't tell you that. You could pick any system in the book. You could take the best trader in the entire world, take their system in a PDF and read every page of it, and you're not going to be successful if you don't know how to control your emotions. And my system's no different. My system's no different. All right, so SPY dipped a little bit here, is back up. QQQ is still on the rage. 1608, Howard. That's the lowest VIX support. All right, VIX is 1637. SPY is coming back up. XLF trading sideways after that big bullish run. If Q's downturn again, maybe it will finally be time to take some puts on SPY. We'll see. Well, cutting a loss, there's two sides of that. Obviously, one is the financial side, cutting your loss and moving on. And you have to realize you can always re-enter a position. Obviously, there's PDT concerns there if you can't re-enter a position. I get that. But if you have more than a 25K account, you can always re-enter a position. If you're not constricted by PDT, you can always re-enter. If you sell a position and it starts to flip on you and go back to where you want it, you can always re-enter and make your money back. But on the other side, there's the emotion side of things, because you're sitting there holding a loser and that red number keeps on getting bigger and bigger, and you start freaking yourself out. Your day's ruined, your stomach's in knots. It's like, oh, why did I take that stupid position? If I would have just waited, blah, 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 woe was me, I'm terrible. If you cut that position, every time I've cut a loser, I immediately feel better. Like the stress immediately, yeah, it sucks, you take a loss, but you immediately feel better. So learn to cut those losses, man. That's why the number, like the four metrics on which I gauge all my trades. Number 3 is a few small losses. You have to take losses. It's going to happen. If you think you're not going to take losses, you're just incorrect. I apologize. You're just incorrect. The goal is to limit the number of losses and to limit the quantity of those of the losses. All right, Q is starting to flip. Okay, there's a little red forming on XLF. SPY is there. Q's there. Man, that just keeps that divergence is just crazy. It's not a trend yet, Professor Dave. It's not a trend yet. 11 o'clock Central Time, 12 o'clock Eastern, Donald. That's what I usually go to. I'll cut it short early if there's nothing going on, but there's something going on today, just not my particular liking. Last week I only saw you take one small trade. You trade after YouTube. I mean, last week on YouTube I traded the 31 percenter. I made a 31 percenter on the Friday's YouTube. So yeah, I do take. I mean, I trade on YouTube every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and when I'm not on YouTube, I'm still trading. I just don't stream because I'm doing other stuff. Could Q's reverse? Yeah, they could. And I'm watching the volume here. It's just not really very telling on the volume here. Big volume candle. Look, all the big candles are sells. Big sell, sell, sell. All the biggest candles are sells here. So where does SPY want to go? XLF is trading sideways, dead sideways, right on top of their range. SPY is popped up above their range and trading flat. Now they're trying to see if we're going to come back down into the range or trend higher. It does. It does, F. Davis. Here's the 5-minute chart. So we have our first dark green candle on the 5-minute chart in a while, since about an hour ago almost. All right, so VIX needs to break this EMA on the upside. I need to see this EMA, this 8 EMA start to curl up to really give me some conviction here, because right now there's no conviction. It's just trading flat. How long have you been a day trader, if you don't mind me asking? I've been trading for 10 years, or a little less than, about nine and change, a little less than 10 years. I've been strictly a day trader since, I mean, exclusively since, I don't know, February, January. However, I've always done day trades. I've only been a day trader since January. In the true sense of the word day trader. Like, I still traded, like up until then, I was doing, overnight holds and sell the next day, stuff like that. But in the true sense of the word day trader, January. The past 6 months of my trading career has been the most stress-free trading ever, and one of my most profitable 6 months outside of 2020. 2020 was just crazy. It was just crazy. Made a crap ton of money in 2020, but yeah, it's obviously that was some extra, some different, so a different reason why, obviously. What made me change being a day trader? I was ready to get out of the market. I was ready to get out. If you read my core values, I kind of tell the story about everything I want. I won't really go into it and bore everybody else again with the story. But basically, I was sick of it. I was ready to get out in 2020. Then Corona happened. I saw a lot of opportunity, so I bought the dips, made a lot of money. I was ready to get out again, and then I realized that I couldn't miss on trading SPY options. So I started focusing all my attention on SPY options, and man, it's been amazing. It's been amazing. I don't talk about my wealth. Urge Trading Club. I guess you can kind of figure out what my, how I'm doing based on my returns. I might have had a six-figure quarter, so I mean, you can do what you will with that. So SPY is trading sideways right now, 436.56. About 2 to 3 years, Bryant, to be consistent. After, of course, I blew up my account the first few months of me trading because I thought I was Wolf of Wall Street, slinging big fancy trader with my new 25 grand in my trading account. Thought I was hot stuff. Made a few good big buys, and then I blew my account up. Position size, Professor Dave, number one piece of advice for a small account is position size. Just because you have $1,000 account doesn't mean you need to put all $1,000 in an account in a position. Obviously, if you're trading SPY, you're going to have larger position sizes because like one contract is like 30% of your portfolio. That's fine. But do not trade all $1,000 if you only have $1,000. Position size is 100% key. Well, it takes time. It takes time. It takes time to scale up. I promise you, it takes time to scale up. And you'll know when the time is right. I am, Danielle. I am. I'll be honest, I'm not in any hurry to do the 1,000 challenge. It's just another distraction for me. But I'm still going to do it. I told you I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it on Webull because I already had set up TOS, but they failed to deposit my money, and that aggravated me. I don't want to trust my trading, especially my public trading, on TOS if they can't even handle a basic deposit. So I switched over to Webull, and I'll have that set up. But yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. Oh, they, David? It sounds like I need to make a YouTube video about that. Thanks, F. Davis. Appreciate that. And you know why the position sizes? You know why position sizes are so important? I mean, there's no surprise here. There's a couple of reasons why. One is obvious financial benefits for both. If you take a loss, it's minimal, and if you take a gain, you can build that confidence. But the other side of things is emotions. If you have $1,000 and you're putting all $1,000 into that account, and if you've got $1,000 account, obviously it's going to be a significant like that's going to be a big deal for you. $1,000 to other people, to me is different from other people, and vice versa. So when you've got $1,000, that could be a lot of your money. If you've got $2,000 in your checking account and $1,000 in your E-Trade, that's 33% of your overall cash wealth, your liquid wealth, and that's a big part. So if you take $1,000 in your E-Trade when you've only got $2,000 in your checking account, and you put that all in one position, you're not going to be able to control your emotions. What's going to happen if you buy something and immediately go south? You're going to be freaking out. Your heart's going to be pounding out of your chest. You're going to have a terrible day. You're going to be kicking yourself. Oh man, I just lost, 30% of all my money. So, that is part of, you're not going to be able to control your emotions if your position size is a large part of your wealth. So, all right, VIX appears to have found some sort of a base here. Let's see what the SPY can do here on the 21. Would I be okay with my kids day trading for a living? If they were good enough to really afford to day trade for a living, I'd have no problem with it. Sure. Good job, Professor Dave. Write that down, baby. All right, so SPY is finally starting to have this like downward little thing here. Maybe this will start of the downturn I've been waiting on. VIX is starting to curl. Q is starting to roll there. XLF is there. XLK is there. Here we go. If we pop through this 21 here on the 80 on the ADMA here, I may take a quick put. Who knows? Pedro says, I'm a college senior with a 3.9 GPA, yet I have no desire to work a job when I graduate. Been putting all my time into learning day trading. You know what? The next video I'm going to do, and I'm going to write it down right now, is should you day trade for a living? There's a lot more to it, I promise you. There's a lot more to it, I promise you, than just taking your profits every day. You want to talk about emotions? You want to talk about high emotions? Try trading when your livelihood is on the line, when your mortgage is on the line, when your wife or husband or boyfriend or girlfriend is like, hey, we need $400 to pay medical bills. How are you doing today on your trades? And you're looking at your E-Trade account and you're down 30%. It brings in a whole different realm of emotion. And it's not as easy as trading without it because it brings in stress. Just like online trading with 6,000 people watching you brings in a whole different layer of stress. It does, yes. I don't have them, but yes, it does. John, those horizontal lines are called the session ranges. Session ranges. If you look at there's a YouTube video I posted that goes over my session ranges. If you are going to decide to day trade for a living, I would highly suggest that you get a job first, a career, and you donate and you dedicate every resource into building up a cash liquid position and padding yourself and doing it for a few years to decide, hey, is this something I really want to do? Because I promise you it's not easy. It's not easy. Not to mention, you have to fund not only your income, but you have to fund your insurance replacement for your medical insurance. You have to fund your long-term growth accounts, like your TSPs, your 401ks, your kids' 529s. You have to build your wealth. Like there's more to it. Think about when you have a job, you got to think about what benefits do you get with the job. You've got your medical benefits. You've got your retirement benefits. You have to fund all that stuff. Not to mention you got to pay your own taxes. It's not as easy as you think. It's not as glamorous as online, as YouTube, as Reddit makes it out to be. That's the next video I'm going to make. Decided. There's a new Discord link right there. Harkin, I'm not going to sanction that, but yeah, pretty much. It all depends, Chris. You can do a lot with that. You can do a lot with that. If you have a high enough, I'll tell you that. I mean, not that humbly, with that amount in my system, yes, you could. If you were to take all my wins with that amount, yes, you could. But you have to maintain consistency. You have to think about that. Not to mention, what happens if 2018 happens? Like everyone thinks they can do this because this is a crazy bull market. What happens if go back to 2018 and look here? You know what? Let's do it together while we're waiting for this crap because I don't want to trade this crap anyway. Let's go back. Actually, I could have just done this, right? Here, you know what? Let's do that. All right, let's look here. Give me these horizontal lines here on 2018. Here's January of March. Okay. All right, that was the entire March, the range of the entire 2018. The high, let's see, $286 to $293. That's $7. $7. It opened in January and 286, and in December, it topped out at 293 in September. So the entire market, entire day, went up $7. The entire market went up $7. SPY went up $7 the entire year. So what happens when you have a market like this and you need to trade for a living? And it's not this. Like you have to learn to trade in these conditions if you want to trade full time. Not just this, because this is going to stop. If you look at the craziest bull market we've had, look at this. I mean, it's nothing like this. This is insane. This is not going to last. This isn't reality. Anyway. Yeah, if y'all haven't watched the newest video I posted yesterday about when to let renters run, go take a look at it. Tell me what you think. Like and comment on that video. That helps me grow, which helps y'all in return. Me make more videos, me spend more time with you all. Yep, if you learn how to sell triangles, that'll definitely help you, Chris. Definitely. And you already know how to do that, definitely. So you're doing well. You're doing well. Good job, BG. No worries. Chris. All right, so this thing is starting to collapse in on the 21 EMA and the 3-minute chart. Let's look at the 5. Starting to trend downwards on the squeeze momentum indicator. And EMAs are starting, or the VIX is starting to collapse up. This looks like a put entry to me. Let me take a look here. July 14th, 43.60 puts are currently trading for $9.30 on the bid right now. It looks like a put entry. Q is starting to come down. XLK is there. XLF is there doing the inverse again. VIX starting to uptrend a little bit. Save me from the cues. That's right. That's right. I tell you what, one step to controlling your emotions is repeating to yourself, I don't have to make a trade today. I do not have to trade today. There is not somebody at my back with a knife in my back saying you have to trade today or you're done. Like you don't have to trade. If you're it doesn't matter. If you see this and you're like, "Oh man, I don't know what to do. Like do I buy it? There's no volume." Like me, like I don't care. Like yeah, did I miss a call this morning? Yeah. But I think long term, think day to day. Focus on your system. You don't have to make a trade every day. I wasn't comfortable with any of this because volumes died off. And now look what's happening. How to identify an uptrend or a downtrend? You got to look at the volume. You have no uptrend without volume. And this is a perfect example because our system tells us when you're using the session ranges that if you pop above and you have follow through, that it's a trend day. But this is not a trend day. Yes, we popped above with follow through on the candles and up, but we stalled and now we're downtrending. Why? We don't have volume. This is why volume is so important. Volume. We didn't even have volume on the uptrend. Look at this. Like half the freaking candles were red and then they turned here to green and just died off. This is not a trend day. And then we get this sell off and all the way down. And it looks like if we follow back into the range, then we're back inside the range. Mean reversion, baby. Back inside the range. That's right, Brady. It's a perfect example. That's why it's so important to to keep a trading log and look back. Well, it's not necessarily about a quantity. It's all relative quantity, Morgan. It's about relative quantity. All right. All right, the July 14th, 430.60 puts are currently trading for $9.40 on the bid, $9.70 on the ask. Had to go get a protein shake. Got some leg day coming up here in a few minutes. 30 more minutes you got me until I sign off here. VIX is still trading flat. XLF is right there, and Qs have some more weight. It's crazy because today is actually a pretty heavy day, yet it doesn't seem it because of what SPY did this morning. Uh-oh, you got that second dose shot. Yeah, that thing, it hurts your arm. I don't use an ADX indicator. No, sir. All right, look. Interesting point to look at. Here we go. 8 and 21 are starting to sandwich down. We got that Italian pinch. Heads up. They're coming down to 34 EMA on the 3-minute chart. Let's go to the 5-minute. Let's zoom this out right here. Boom. Right on the 21 EMA, downtrending. If it breaks down through the 34, that's a very bearish indicator. 34 EMA is usually pretty stout. Devin, depends. Obviously, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm here trading. Usually, I trade every single morning. If there's a lot of action to be had, I'll trade all day. I'll sit here and trade all day. But I mean, I've got kids, especially they're not in school. They're here at the house with me, and I'd like to spend time with them. So if there's not much going on in the market, I'll go hang out with them. I'll go work out. I'll go run errands. Do dad stuff, clean the house. So yeah, I do not like sitting here all day doing nothing, watching charts if there's nothing to be had. All right, Sonny, take it easy, man. Thank you for liking that video. I appreciate that. Morgan, here, yes, it had that volume increase, but here, no. This volume was just dying out. And I'm looking at the relative volume. I'm pretty blessed, Carpe. I'm pretty blessed for sure. I've got a great family, pretty great life. So I've worked very hard for it. All right, so here we go. There's that 34 EMA. Let's look at what the Qs are doing. XLF finally getting a sell-off here. VIX, we may actually get the downside that I've been waiting for. These puts are currently trading for $9.70 each. All right, here we go. Hold on. Stand by one. VIX starting to uptrend here. Qs are there. Man, Man, this could be on the XLK is starting to downtrend. SPY is there. Stand by. I like this put setup, man. I like it a lot. How do you feel about selling outside the money in condors or spreads to take advantage of days like this for a while? Absolutely. You know, a couple weeks ago, I started posting the strangles that I've been selling on days because we went through like a 2 week period where it was just ridiculous, just nothing, awful. So the only option was to sell strangles, and that's what I was doing. Past few days, I haven't been doing it because I got some good action. Well, this is what I'm waiting for right here. See this little green candle? That's why I'm not jumping the gun and puts yet. All right, there's a big red candle there on the SPY. Switched up in the 8. It just crossed below the 21 EMA. This looks like a prime put entry here. Let's see. Q's there. XLF is finally turning. XLF looks like it's playing ball with the XLK and Q's there. And the VIX looks like it might get an upturn here. 8 is crossing up to the 21. The volume here is picking up there. You got that there. We'll see how this little red candle forms out. Currently trading at 10.20 each. That would have been $1 gain on the puts if I would have bought about 10 minutes ago. If VIX gets an uptrend here, they're going to see some downside in SPY. Maybe come back and test the bottom of the range. That'd be sweet. What put price are we looking at? I've got the 1443.60 puts currently trading at $10 a piece. All right. So VIX is yeah, things are still, figuring out what's gonna happen. First day waking up early for the market, it's a sideways day. Yeah. It's funny how it goes, That's right, that's right. Patience, patience. No, Qs usually have more range than SPY. Or I wouldn't say usually, but a lot of the time it has more range than SPY. Nice, Dan Owen, 60% is fantastic. You and me both, Dan, Tony. Me and me both. Do I look at volume on the daily, you Peter, or 1 hour chart too, only on a smaller interval? Can we get some small? Yeah. So I look at everything. I look at 3 minute and the 5 minute, 15 minute, and I'm watching the volume candles across all such. So 15 minute, especially like that 34 EMA on the 15 minute. If we ever get down there, that's strong. But I'm watching the volume here. Obviously, you can kind of see where the day's chunked out at. Huge bullish in the morning, and then a little sell off here, which is you can kind of see extrapolate here in the 15 minute. 5 minute here is where I usually like to hang out and do my analysis from. It's flipping back and forth between red and green. Sorry, going to the 3 minute. The more the tighter your time frame, the more candles you're going to have, obviously, and the less of a trend you're going to see. The more time you have, the more trend you're going to see. So obviously, when you go out to like the 15 minute, you're going to see more of a trend here, especially with that, and that's why it's kind of died off. You can kind of see the volume really die off. 5 minute, the more chunks you carve out, the less trend you're going to see. Oh, okay. So if you click on your chart and then you just use your number keys, you type in 3, enter. 5, enter. 15, enter. 60, enter. 120, there you go. So, yeah, one of you all taught me that back in the day. So it's been helpful. Usually don't do it, David. Usually I don't take the first 30 minutes of the day. Oh, didn't enter a put. Not yet. Not yet. Haven't taken any position. Look at that SPY's curling back up. How do I decide when to trade SPY or X? I'm aware of the differences between the two, but notice somebody to trade one. Volume. The big determinant for me is volume. Obviously, I try to trade SPX whenever I can because of the obviously tax incentives and the commission incentives. But some days there's just no volume, and I refuse to trade 0 DTE contracts because they're just too volatile. So if I have a 3 to 4 day DTE on SPX and there's just no volume, and I think I'm going to get stuck in a position or have liquidity problems, I'll just trade SPY. I hate worrying about liquidity. So volume is the big determinant, the only determinant really. All right. So it's 10:50 Central. I've got about 10 more minutes before I'm signing off here. I'll still be monitoring the Discord when I do sign off, though. So, and I'll be monitoring the market, of course. Usually, when I step away, I'll set some notifications on SPY to when they hit a price point, just in case I'm not really looking at the market. Just saying. If I'm going to sell a put or a call, what strike prices are you talking about? If you're, I guess you're talking about like strangles. I would look for about a week out, and then I would look for 0.1 to 0.5 deltas. So look for the associated deltas. Well, KDW, the whole reason, and if you like one of the things that go over in that volume price analysis book is they go over supply and demand. And the market very much fits into that category. Everything does. Anything with a purchaser and a buyer, the base foundation of price movement is supply and demand. We have such a huge buying influx coming up here. We are at all-time highs. Just trickling along week after week, day after day, all-time highs. Then in May, we bounced off this 50 EMA. No, in June. Sorry. Let's go back. Down here, June 18th, we bounced off the 50 EMA right below it, and we just shooting up from 413 up to 436. It's crazy. And when this happens, let's see what the actually percentage is on that. So we're up 5.5%. SPY ETF is up 5.5% in less than a month. That's freaking ridiculous. It's insane. And unfortunately, people are desensitized to the ridiculousness of this market to think this is normal. And it's not normal. 5.5% on an ETF in less than a month is ungodly. When you have this kind of buying power, eventually the price gets so high where the buyers just don't want to buy. You have people like me. It's like there's if you look at the big institutional buyers, the big like multi-million, billion-dollar people, they buy when others sell and they sell when others buy. They're not buying up here. It's ridiculous. And when you have this level of all-time highs, the price is too high, the buyers aren't going to want to buy it. So you have inherent low volume. This crap you see is retail buying. It's not institutional buying. This may be institutional, but this is just retail buying. So you have low volume. That's why the price doesn't really do much. That's why the price doesn't have much conviction. Roger that. Love it. Prime military for sure. Even the ETF exchange channels is dead. Like everything just died off. It's like if you think about a Walmart shelf or whatever grocery store or supermarket, whatever. You go back to a toy section or whatever, and you've got a toy that's extremely high demand, and they jack the price up on this thing. Normally sells at $50. They jack it up to $100 and they put it on the top shelf. And then they look at the end of the month and they realize, we've only sold like 3 of these things when we're used to selling, we're used to selling 1,000 a month, and now we're only selling 3, 5, 6. Well, what's the natural thing to do? You put it on discount, 20% off, bring the price down. What happens? Immediately buy up. Now you're back to 1,000 units sold a month. Supply and demand. You have to find the price at which both buyers and sellers agree that is market value. When that happens, you get a huge influx. When you see the price drop below the 50 MA right here and immediately gets bought up, that is the market telling you that the buyers and sellers agree that price is too low. And you buy that thing back up. Supply and demand. When the price is up here and you see no volume whatsoever, I mean, look at these candles. So these candles today right here are lower than these. I mean, look, it's the lowest volume we've had since basically we started this run up. Why? Because we're at 436 on no volume. Like, nobody wants to buy this crap. Institutionals are definitely not buying this. Institutions are definitely not buying this crap. It's all about supply and demand. Until we get a reset of price where buyers can step in and say, okay, the price is now where I want to buy. We're not going to get volume. Or the only thing that contradicts that statement is news. And I can't obviously account for news. Nobody can. If Jay Powell comes out and says, you know what, we're going to keep on buying assets until 2025, this market will go to 500 before August. You can't predict news. Technical analysis didn't come into news. Nope, not much today. All right, SP wants to curl back up. QQQ is doing the same. XLF is already raging. VIX is still falling, so back to looking bullish. Yeah, pretty much. It's too easy to be manipulated. No, the 50 and 200, I use the MA. On the 8, 21, and 34, I use the EMA. You're right, CJ. Absolutely right. Yeah, I will not take a position unless something happens where it gives me conviction, which usually comes in the form of volume, because the price is too easy manipulated when you've got no volume. Like this right here, if you were to take a call thinking this is going to continue to go up, all it takes is one large order, sell order, and it's going to tank to here. And you're going to lose 20% in about 2 seconds. It's just too easy for that to happen. I play off probabilities. I'm not a wizard. I don't know what the market's going to do any more than anybody else, but I use what I see on the charts to give me the highest probability for success. And when you've got low volume, it kind of takes probability out of your hands. And yeah, so I usually don't like to play low volume stuff. One day I should become a spy wizard. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I probably won't play I usually don't trade the last hour of the day. I have before, and I just don't like it. All right, y'all. That is 12 Eastern. That is time for me to sign off here. I'll still be monitoring the Discord. If you are new to the YouTube channel, go ahead and join the Discord, man. A lot of good stuff. Great people. Great wealth of information. So head on over there, join the Discord. Ask any questions you want to me, anybody else. You can at me anytime, or you could DM me anytime. I'll answer that as expeditiously as possible. Thank you all for being here. Please like and subscribe to the channel. And also catch the video I posted yesterday. How to catch wins. How to let the winners run is that video. So go take a look at that. Tell me what you think. Great resources on how to define when to let a winner run. Easy as pie. So thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I'll see you back here again on Wednesday morning at market open. Until then, I'll be in the Discord until then. So thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I'm out of here. See you.